Hello, this is Jenny Spring with Spring Into Sales, and I am doing a website review for Maxine Fay. And we're looking at Maxine's website right now. Maxine has some beautiful handmade jewellery that she designs and makes herself. So we're going to look at 3 tweaks that she could do tomorrow that would make the difference between a website that someone might come to and leave within 3 to 7 seconds, or one that might engage them and cause them to stay and become more engaged and more interested, possibly leave some information for her, maybe place an order. So that we're looking at. Okay. So my top comment, my first tweak that I would suggest for Maxine is that she has several menu items down the left-hand side. We've actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 menu items. Now, our brain doesn't actually handle a lot of choices. The more choices we give a potential customer, the less likely they are to spend anything. And I've actually got a blog post on this called Too Much Jam. It's quite an interesting study. And so we don't want to give people too many choices. It just is confusing. So my recommendation, Maxine, is to actually take the bracelets here and those bracelets there and put them together. So just have one menu item for bracelets. And I wouldn't even break down the pricing. You could, but I wouldn't. We don't really like drop downs that much. It's kind of a little bit annoying. I would just say bracelets. Then I would have one menu item for earrings, and so those ones there and those ones there can all go together. I know that you differentiate them. I know that you have broken them down by pricing and differentiated them, but really, if someone is coming to your website, they are looking for something. Might be looking for a jewellery for a friend or something for themselves. And so we just want to make it really simple. We don't want to give them the breakdowns too early because they may not be price driven. So we assume when we do the earrings like this, we're assuming they're price driven. If, for example, you'd broken them down and said gold, silver and beaded and then broken them down by price, that might have been a little bit better. But let's not assume that they're price driven just yet. So one menu item for bracelets, one menu item for earrings, one menu item for necklaces, one menu item for About Me, and that's it. All right? Home, it would be better if you didn't put home on, and then a Contact Me, and then possibly a How to Find Me or events, possibly that. Okay, and that's it for this section here. Nothing else. All right, so take all these things that are under these items and group them based on what I've just described. So that's tweak number 1, is reduce the menu items to as small that you can have but still make sense. And think of why the person's come to your site in the first place. So what are they hunting for? Put that word on the menu item so they can say, okay, this is jewellery, earrings, that's what I want. Click, and off I go. So that's tweak number 1. Tweak number 2 is the main purpose of the website, of your website, your homepage, is probably to either get somebody to shop or to get them to maybe collect a mechanism to have you speak to them in the future, and that might be an email. So I like that you've put your email updates up here. That's great. I recommend that Facebook is not a top priority for you. So I would pop that down the bottom. So I would put the email updates, and when I scroll down to the bottom of your page, I see that you've actually got what we call an opt-in box. Now, most of us actually don't really want to get email updates, so put some wording on there that just makes it a little more interesting and enticing. For us to get an email address from someone, it's a precious commodity. We need to make it so they really want to give it to us. So instead of get email updates, I would recommend that you might want to decide what is it that I can give them that will cause them to give me something, which is their email. So it might be a coupon, I like how you've done here a monthly draw for a pair of earrings. That's a great idea. It might simply be that they stay up to date with what you're offering. Okay, so I would just change that wording and just make it a little more sort of exciting to be on your email list. So that is tweak number 2, which is to have a bigger opt-in box up here. This is a little bit too small. Have a bigger opt-in box up here if you're going to locate it here, maybe even off to the side a little bit more, and move your Facebook down the bottom. That's tweak number 2. So tweak number 3 is with your colour range. Now your jewellery is quite pretty and quite colourful. I would suggest that you really drop down the other colours here. We don't want the words to so I'm looking here and that's orange, that's a purple. Then I go down here and we've got blue, orange, blue, purple bolded, underlined, orange. It's too many colours on the page. We really want people to focus on your words and to really connect with you. You really want to be able to reach out and grab them and have your messaging be really strong. And you want your jewellery as well to stand out. So I'd suggest that you strip down the colours on your site significantly and just keep to one colour and maybe a second colour, and that second colour would be the action that you want them to take. An action button, get email updates or whatever it is, that's an action that you want them to take. So choose one main colour and then one secondary colour becomes the actual action to take. Okay, so that's your 3 website tweaks. Reduce the menus and remove all the drop downs. Have a bigger opt-in box that's a little more exciting about why they'd want to get the updates, and put Facebook down the bottom, so it's like a double tweak there, and drop down your colour range, reduce your colour range. Now I was just going to say one more thing. I notice that when I click on My Designs, see, I'm not quite sure when I click on My Designs what that actually means. So you've actually got quite a bit of information here, and your groupings make sense to you, but they don't necessarily make sense to me. So for example, Just for Fun or Exquisite, Metaphysical, I understand how you've chosen these groupings, but my suggestion is to just not to group them in this way, because sometimes we get so close to our own product that we don't necessarily realize that other people don't understand what we might mean by something. So I'd actually maybe take this information and put this information somewhere else. So for example, when someone clicks on bracelet, you might decide in here to group the bracelets, so to put maybe 3 categories in here. It might be gold bracelets, beaded bracelets, or something else bracelets, or you could decide, like you've done, to group them in the 3 prices. And then we would click on one of those groupings, and then it would take us even deeper into the products that are relevant to that grouping. So you've actually done some product grouping here, and I think that's great. I would just like to see a little bit different way of entering into these product grouping pages. Okay, so that's pretty much 4, kind of 5 tweaks for you, and I'll be really interested to see how that works for you and whether you find that just makes it a little simpler and easier. And the bottom line is, you want to be looking at your Google Analytics and see whether people are staying on the site a little bit longer and maybe moving around and sort of getting to the shopping carts a little bit quicker. Now we've got some other tips and tweaks. We've done some reviews for other websites, so you're welcome to have a look through those. And also back on springertosales.com, we've got quite a few blog posts on creating websites that are there to convert and to grab leads as well.